Warning, this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. This video is brought to you by First Detachment Nutrition. Battle tested, expert formulated. Use discount code AB10 at checkout for 10% off. What's up, guys?
What's up?
Nothing much. Well, hopefully I can make this fucker work now.
What wasn't working? Oh, the Instagram.
We thought we were live and we weren't live, and then and now the damn Instagram thing. I can hear the echo.
Oh no!
Yeah, mine just went away. Nick, you got a way better setup.
Oh, cheers! Appreciate that. Yeah, I've just hooked up my camera I record my YouTube videos with. There's like a webcam. I just use the it's like called a cam link attachment.
Yeah.
And I just Elgato cam link or something like that. Yeah, and then the mic. I think it's quiet actually because of the windsock on it. If I take that off, it'll probably be louder.
I always like
you just got to eat these types of mics that you have to have them right up in your face.
Oh, okay, like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're super sensitive.
Yeah.
Colin, how are you?
Like me.
How am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm good, man. I just finished a week with no THC and back on. Well, it's not exactly like coming off of heroin, guys. Let's be honest. I was just like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna take a break, and that was that. Yeah, today is my first high day in a while that I've actually earned, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, just looking forward to continuing that trend, and hopefully by the time the Arnold rolls around, I'm not so roly poly. That'd be tight.
Yeah, that'd be dope, dude. You feeling like the lethargia and stuff after getting off?
No, I don't know that I felt. I was irritable.
Yeah.
Definitely irritable for like 2 or 3 days. Like Chris is asking how crazy the dreams were. I dreamt last night that Ian McKellen was my friend and he gave me his scarf. So pretty cool. Pretty cool dreams. Definitely more vivid than they have been in quite some time. A lot of time on my hands. Joshua Perry's asking if I had a lot of time on my hands. No, I've got 6 cats, a dog, and a wife, and a job, and I like to go to the gym. So I already don't have enough fucking time in the day. Maybe that's why I was stoned all the time. But yeah.
Oh, I was gonna ask Colin, how did your ADHD appointment go? Did you get
Oh man, she had technical difficulties, so even though I left early to join, I just sat there for like 20 minutes and she never showed, and she apologized after the fact. So I got to make a third appointment. That was my second attempt. She just didn't show for the first one.
Fun times.
The healthcare system in the U.S. is pretty tight, I got to say. So I got to make a third appointment, and I've been dragging my heels on doing that for obvious reasons.
I feel like once you get to the third, they should just give it to you.
I know, right?
Yeah. It's like clearly you have ADHD.
Yeah, you make 9 appointments, and your 10th one's free, right? Like one of those punch cards for Submarine sandwiches.
Maybe your doctor has ADHD.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
that's why she's able to.
She probably has it
to diagnose it so well.
Dude, I tried making this thing live on Instagram too, but it's like there's no way to mute it, so I can hear both broadcasts going at the same time. It's so wonky.
That's frustrating.
Oh, that's a bit annoying.
That's so interesting. I didn't realize you could do that though. Like have it both on YouTube
that's
and Instagram.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Is it live on Instagram? I can't see.
Yeah, it's live right now.
Yeah, it's live.
Oh, okay.
It's just delayed by a couple seconds, I think.
Awesome.
I had to turn the screen off on my thing, so I don't know how I view. Evidently, the questions don't come over here too, so they don't. The ones from Instagram.
So it's like compartmentalized a little bit.
Yeah, it's new technology. You know.
Hey, did you guys see that Joe Rogan brought up Sam Sulek on his podcast?
Oh no, I didn't see that.
No.
Saw that.
Yeah, he just discovered him.
Yeah,
I
think it's cool.
I think
it's cool.
He's going to be. Joe's going to invite him on the podcast
For
eventually.
sure.
I reckon.
Yeah,
100%.
He's gonna see, because it's like, dude, homie's getting he's got some of the most liked Instagram posts. Like, he can post in a week, and he doesn't post often, and it'll become one of the most liked posts on Instagram. So there's no way he's not catching his eye. I feel like that's kind of what he's looking for in a guest too, and the fact that Sam can kind of talk for an hour and a half just training, and people are captivated by that. Sam can tell really good stories, so I feel like he'd be a non-negotiably good podcast guest to have on.
I don't understand why everybody hates on him so much. Like, I hear people talking about like him dying and all this stuff, and I'm like, he's what, 19, 20 years old?
Yeah,
I think it's suppressed jealousy, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. And for a while, I was in the same boat because I didn't really look at his content, and I was like, well, this guy's fucking eating like shit, and he's training like an asshat. But then as you kind of dig in more and more to the content, you start to see a little bit more of who he is. And then you start to realize why he does the things that he does and his particular beliefs. And it's like, dude's literally not trying to tell anybody to do anything. He's just like, this is what I do. And this is, and it's more like him talking about almost his philosophy of life compared to why he trains a specific way or something of that nature.
Well, the average 19-year-old, at least when I was 19, we were ripping bong hits, playing beer pong, and eating Taco Bell.
Right.
So it wasn't like we were living the good, clean life, man.
Right.
I'd say cut the kid some break, man. A break. I mean, I think he's doing pretty well.
No, he's doing super well.
There's just so many haters on social media. It's just unreal, man.
Yeah.
And
it seems like, but sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, he self-confesses that his diet's not healthy. Like, he literally does it for the time efficiency of it. He's a full-time engineering student. He's obviously got a sponsorship now. He's got a lot of things on his plate, and then he obviously just wants to be a 20-something-year-old kid. And, like, I mean, you can't be dialing your nutrition into a T, like timing every meal to the minute, that sort of thing, if you want to live a normal life, and that's what he wants to do. So
yeah, no, I agree. And that the degree he's going for is very rigorous. I mean, it's not like an easy degree to just get your hands on. So he's going to have to put in a lot of work for that too.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I think it's really interesting because he's likely making a lot of money. I don't know how much Hostile is paying him, but I imagine it's quite a bit. Yeah, and if this is true, like, let's say he is averaging, even just on the conservative side, like 1K a day on Instagram, that's 30K a month roughly. It's like, to see him not doing stupid shit with that kind of money is really cool.
So we were going to make the same point.
Still driving his Corolla. Like, he's still driving his Toyota Corolla, which is like
he's
early
still
2000s.
driving the fucking Corolla.
Like Chris was saying, I hope he still finishes his
really
engineering degree and doesn't get lost in the social media circus. When you're making a bunch of money, you're that young. I mean, like, speaking for myself, I would have, just gone off the deep end, but he seems like he has a good head on his shoulders. And I also hope that he, finishes his degree and, doesn't let the fame and the money get to his head.
Because I think it can be like a two-way road where that could end up really well for him, and maybe he makes this an entire career, or it's like that division turns into, like a Jake Paul situation where everyone kind of just fucking hates him and he's on the internet to be sort of the internet boy.
Yeah, I see that happening though. He seems like a very likable guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he seems pretty down to earth, pretty chill, very likable guy. I'm happy for the dude. I don't know why people are being so crappy towards him. It's really weird.
For sure.
Yeah. People are just jaded. He's doing something that everyone probably wishes they did that they didn't do, and now they're just kind of
you can go one of two ways. When you look at somebody like a Sam Sulek or anybody who has success in a certain arena, that, like, I mean, getting muscles and being lean and jacked, like, is something that 99.9% of humans, especially men, want for themselves. So looking at someone like a Sam Sulek or anyone who's achieved like such a physique is basically like it forces you to hold a mirror up to yourself, and you, if you can't handle what you see when that mirror is held up to yourself, then oftentimes you see people lash out. And that's just a sign of weakness. Like you should do better. You should really take stock if you feel the need to lash out at a young man, I should say, who's seeing some success. Like understand that that's just your own inadequacies playing tricks on you, and you should do better as a human.
Right. The people that man, just towards the end of my contest prep, it was just brutal, man. People. It's like the better you look, the worse more people reach out to. I had some dude the other day. I posted one of my pics, like my professional pics, and he's like, "Bro, you need to lay off the drugs. You look like you're 45." And I'm like, "Great, I'm 50, man."
Little does he fucking know.
and then he's like, "Well, you still look like you've aged 10 years." And I'm like, compared to what? I mean, like, do you see many 50-year-olds walking around that look like me?
Yeah.
Let me guess, this guy had no profile picture.
No profile picture.
Every time, bro. They never have profile pictures, or their profiles are private and they've made like 2 posts ever. It's like the most funny fucking thing.
Then we call those troll accounts.
Yeah. It's fucking hilarious how that happens.
I laughed though that he's so fucking stupid. He said that you look like you're 45.
Complimented you.
I'm like, thanks, bro.
Idiot.
Oh man, talk about internet trolls, man. After the Dr. Mike interview I had up the other day, oh my god, people, their heads were exploding.
Really?
Yeah, man. My subscriber count went down on YouTube that day. I had a bunch of people unsubscribe, but I mean, he went hard to the paint on the gym bro culture.
Yeah,
it was pretty hilarious, actually. I was cracking up the whole time.
It was funny as shit, dude. He's a good guy to talk to.
Anything you said.
Him talking about, he's like how guys, they overcomplicate cycles and then they oversimplify in training. He's like, bro, he said pharmacology has an ology in it. That shit is complicated. But just eat meat.
Yeah.
Use some slag iron. It was a full frontal assault on the gym bro culture. He went hard on the Mincer bros. I think that's why people got angry.
That's so interesting. It's
so
hard
people
to not agree with them.
Got upset that like they were complaining that like you, Paul, have made the argument in the past that it can be as simple as just eating meat, steak, rice, repeat, going to the gym, lifting with intelligence and intensity, and then taking some time to recover, right? But like if you fucking paid attention to the interview, like before he started making these points and going in on these Neanderthals, he was talking about how like we're talking about taking it to the next level. We're talking about elite athletes at the top of the bodybuilding heap, like going to the gym regularly, training with some degree of intelligence and intensity, and eating meat and rice often will get you to a certain point. But beyond that, you're going to have to specialize if you want to reach new heights.
He's like, do you think Honey Rambod's telling he's getting paid to tell dudes to move slag iron?
Yeah. Is that what he's paying them, or is that what people are paying? Honey
I mean,
Rambod
his
for?
point, and I think this is the part that everybody freaking misunderstood. Like he and I actually talked about it. Is like most people when they come to me, I can't even get them to do the basics. Like literally, dude, if you're not following a structured diet, you don't have a structured training program. You're not weighing and measuring your food. You're not, taking PEDs correctly. There's no point in worrying about injection timing and the osmolarity of your intra-workout shake. It doesn't fucking matter. Get that 90% buttoned up first. And then when you're an advanced bodybuilder, all that little nuance and stuff makes a difference. That could be the difference between being first and third on the Olympia stage. So that matters to the guys. But like he was saying, he was like, people get way into the weeds on shit like diet and PEDs, especially PEDs, but they just oversimplify training. Mm-hmm. That was his point.
The name of your channel is Anabolic Bodybuilding. And so you have a bunch of non-bodybuilders watching a channel called Anabolic Bodybuilding getting pissed that it's two bodybuilders talking about bodybuilding and that they're not included. And they want to be bodybuilders. They identify as bodybuilders, but just they're not bodybuilders. And that's where, you know, like earlier, a couple of weeks ago, I got a lot of hate from people because I kind of went into that subject, not so much on this podcast, although we did go into the subject on this podcast, but on my remedial street chemistry show with DJ, is that she brought up this person who was saying, I want to do recreational steroids. What do you think about it? And it's like, I think it's stupid to take steroids if you're not competing in a sport or there's not a purpose to it. So, of course, all the biohackers got bent out of shape and said, you just alienated your fan base. It's like, what are you talking about? Biohackers are not my fan base. This is a bodybuilding show. And it's like, and I specified basketball, baseball. I didn't say like you have to compete in bodybuilding, but if you're not a professional athlete, why are you taking drugs that are theoretically bad for you and will be bad for you unless you're a genius or you have a genius writing your cycle? Like, you can't dabble in this shit and not get hurt. It's like black magic. Like, very few sorcerers can summon demons, bind demons, and get demons to obey them without the demon fucking them over somehow in the deal and killing them or their loved ones. Same thing goes with the anabolic steroids. It's like, you're not going to get away with it unscathed. You're going to get scarred on the inside or the outside. So don't even fuck with that black magic if you don't need to accomplish your goals. If you have no goals, then you don't need to use them at all. And so it's the same situation here.
Oh, I was just going to say, let's be real. No recreational lifter needs PEDs to achieve their goals. The goals of a recreational lifter are mediocre. Like, to get abs or to just build some tissue, you can do that without drugs. So they're just using it to cut the journey shortcuts. Yeah.
You know, most people would want to look like Alex Eubank versus like you, Nick, or Paul, or really anybody that's like an open bodybuilder or someone who's really competing. I think it's just that the realization of their reality is like there's no way to do it, or there's a shortcut. And I don't want to say like using drugs is bad recreationally, but I think using high doses of androgens certainly can be. It's like a testosterone dose, or even just slightly elevated testosterone for replacement therapy is more than enough to get the benefits of having testosterone being exogenously introduced to your body. You don't need to go up to 500 milligrams to get any benefit outside of maybe potentially more growth rates if you're actually competing. And then you also get the downside. Yeah. And
if you do, your training's dog shit and your nutrition's dog shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And that's always the case. Is the Alex Eubanks have a very attainable physique that if you take a lighting in his iPhone and you saw him at the gym, he would look like some skinny ass teenager. He's nothing special.
Yeah. Steven here said Mike Menser was taking 200 milligrams of Nandrolone pre-workout with meth, according to Larry Pollack.
I believe the meth.
I need to get Larry on sometime. Larry lived with if I recall correctly, lived with Mike Menser for years. He was his roommate. Wow. Yeah.
Be awesome.
If they had like Alex Eubank posing in a mirror and then Boogeyman filming it, and he just looked like a skinny teenager without all the movie magic that he uses and all the filters and all the, it's like a lot of you guys, I don't know if you've ever had this, but you date with a girl you saw on Instagram or whatever, and then she looks nothing like she did in her pictures. She's 10 years older. She's 30 pounds heavier. I'm sitting a 9 or 10. She's like a 4. And it was all because of these Instagram filters. And I think that the iPhone does that automatic dudes' upper bodies. Do the lighting right. And I've had someone show me on my phone how to like change some stuff around. You take the picture. It's not even putting a filter on after the fact. It's just using the phone before you take the picture. You can make 100 times better. And I think that these guys just need to learn how to use their cell phones better, and they wouldn't need the steroids to pick up girl they could catfish girls the way girls catfish guys using these filters.
Yeah.
So we could call it anabolic catfish and have a channel for them because this is one's over their head.
Yeah.
Brief how-to on the catfishing.
Yeah.
It was interesting though how pissed off people got about that video. I did guys, I got a cool interview coming up. It's going to be on Monday. I was on this interview for like an hour and 40 minutes with Ryan Root, and he was the largest UGL bust in U.S. history.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah, and so I did an hour and a half long. He just got out of jail not too long ago. He's got sentenced to 70 a couple months. I don't remember the exact amount, and then he got out on good time, I think in like 4.5 years. But man, that was a wild interview talking about how it just went from, he said he was a biochem major and just kind of started trying to make a few hundred extra bucks. And then he said then he was making a few thousand a week. Then he was making 10,000 a week. Then he was making $100,000 a week. And they said it just got to the point where he didn't even know how much he was making.
Oh my God.
Wow.
How did he talk about what happened to get him to the point where he got found?
Yeah, it was the age-old story. There was
Girlfriend?
No, well, I don't know.
You have to watch to find out, huh?
You have to watch to find out. In next episode. No, he talked about there was a girl. I got the impression he said he kept everybody separate. Like he's like the chemist didn't know the shippers, and like nobody knew. Like he's like I didn't even know people's names. He said so there was like separate. He had chemists, people brewing, and shippers all over the country. Wow. So like all over the place. But he said the girl that was his assistant wanted to make more money, and so she saw how much money the shippers were making, and she knew the whole operation. Like she knew everything. And so he said that he let her be a shipper, and they had a package that was packaged improperly or whatever, and they were the chemist sent it out or whatever to them, and it broke, and the post office opened it up. Mm-hmm. And he said they got wind of it early, and so they cleaned out the house where they were doing the shipping, and then the cops showed up, just the local cops, not the feds, and they arrested both of them, and he got a lawyer, and the lawyer got the other guy off, but she panicked and just told everything. Mm-hmm. And he said He said, now this is the crazy part. He said that the local cops didn't have enough evidence, and at that time the feds didn't take the case. They just let it go. So he said she ran her mouth and gave him everything. He said he kept going for another like 3 years, and then finally the feds had that Operation Cyber Juice or whatever it was, and then found out, like dug this old case back up and started looking into it again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. Dude.
Yeah, he said he was in his penthouse in New York City and got a knock on the door at 5 a.m. and had about 11 DEA agents with their guns pointing in his face. Wow. This is a wild story, man. He said he had so much money he didn't even know how much he had. I think they said I don't remember, it was tens of millions they seized.
Wow. So they seized his assets like completely, basically.
I mean, I'm sure there's some stuff floating out there. You know what I'm saying?
Dude. There's no way.
Surely he had like an offshore account in the Caymans or something he was putting shit in. Like he would have. Yeah. Or like invested in like crypto in like a
he said he wasn't doing crypto at that time.
Dig a hole in the ground.
Yeah. real old fashioned fucking pirate style. X marks the spot.
Yeah, it was wild. And he said that he kind of blew up because he said there was such crappy customer service with the UGLs at that time. Like he said, I was making sure everything was properly dosed. I was making sure everything was properly labeled. I was shipping out things priority mail. He's like, just good customer service that nobody was doing. And then that's what blew me up. And he said he tried to get out like multiple times. He thought about getting out, and he said it was just like it had like taken on he had like dozens of people working for him. Maybe he didn't go into exact numbers, but he had just tons of people working for him. It was wild. It was wild.
It's really
Yeah,
interesting.
I'm keen to watch that episode.
Yeah, I'll definitely watch that.
Yeah, he said he wanted to come on here sometime, so I'll get him on.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be wicked.
Fuck, I'd ask so many questions, dude.
Yeah, me too.
I wanted to get the interview done first, but I was just on. I haven't done a 90-minute interview that went by so fast. I was just captivated the whole time.
Yeah.
He's running a TRT clinic now.
Shut the fuck up. Wow.
What a legend. What a legend. It's probably best customer service out of all the TRT clinics.
He's like, I know everything there is to know about this stuff.
Exactly.
Oh,
he's like already distributed, so he's like, I already know how to do this better than they're doing it. At that point, fuck.
Yeah, pretty.
Should we go over the Arnold list that just popped out?
Oh, did it?
Oh.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, I think this is probably going to be. I think everyone says this every year, but this one's probably going to be one of the best Arnolds we've had.
Samson's doing it, yeah?
Yeah, you don't think so, Todd?
No,
Why?
there's no Nick,
Oh, yeah. Nick Walker, yeah.
so it's
That's
just
it.
going to be Samson versus who? It's just going to be Samson. I mean, that's
I reckon-
put down
I
the
mean-
other athletes, but I mean, like Samson's number 3 in the Olympia, and I don't think anyone in the top 10 is even competing other than
I
Samson.
thought Hottie was doing it.
Yeah, Hottie's
Oh
in there.
no! Oh, I didn't know he was really going to be in there. I thought they just put him on the poster because they wanted to make it look good. That's why it says
No, I think
pending.
he's actually in it.
Well, it's actually
reckon-
pending. He has to get the visa in order to actually be in it, which means he wouldn't get the visa for the Olympia. He has to choose one visa. He's going to take the Olympia visa, unless
I
they
don't
can get
think
him
he
in the
left.
country and leave him here all year.
I heard-
Oh, if he's smart enough not to go back to Iran, that's a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go back. I mean, I'd bring my wife and kid like Canada or Mexico or some shit, and then just apparently we
I
don't
don't
have
know.
a southern border, so you could just cross anytime you want.
I don't. James Hollingshead's competing.
So
Yeah.
what's the list? Yeah, let's pull a list up.
I don't know.
Can-
Is
That-
that-
I,
I don't-
I jumped the gun apparently, because here I am talking about the list and no one has it in front of them.
Yeah, I just heard what Holland said, Dowder and Hardy. Okay, this is cool. I'm honestly really keen to see Hollingshead now that he's coached by Milos, just to see how he kind of comes in. Be interesting because I mean, with Milos, like his athletes either hit the mark or they look absolute shit. Like,
Yeah.
there's kind of no in between. They're either like
Oh,
conditioned,
it
full.
says Hottie Chupin pending.
Oh,
Right, it's pending. Yeah.
Dude, if
But
we
no
get
visa.
Neckzilla in there, that would be really interesting to see.
I have a
Yeah.
feling he doesn't like that name because I haven't heard people call him that in weeks.
I don't even know his real name. That's the problem.
It's,
Rubio.
it's Mosquera right there.
No,
Rubio.
that's his last name. I think it's Rubiel. Rubiel.
Mosquera.
People I'm most keen to see on stage out of this lineup would be James, Sampson, Horse MD, and I guess Neckzilla or Andrew Jack. Either one of those
Andrew
two.
Jack.
Who's Horse? Is Marcelo
Horse
Horse?
MD's Marcelo DeAngelis. Yeah,
Okay.
Man, Justin
Yes.
Rodriguez has got to be getting up there, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's like
he's old,
he's in his
bro.
late 40s, right?
yeah,
Call it.
yeah. He's starting to. You can see his physique starting to deteriorate a little bit. Like he's getting that atrophy of the lower body and stuff.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know. So you got Samson Dauda, and then you have Andrew Jack, which let's just hypothetically say Andrew Jack comes in a little bit cleaner. Him and Dauda are very comparable. And then you have this Neckzilla guy who's like different from all of them because he's like basically the, other variant of Nick Walker in a sort of way where he's just so fucking dense. It's not like a pretty physique, but you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
He reminds me of Lou Ferrigno, Neckzilla.
Yes.
He's kind of like the modern Lou Ferrigno. He's like massive, but his proportions are off.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah,
super
he's
weird.
Like Yeah, it's strange. Like, it's an impressive physique, but you're impressed because it's so different, not because it's like the most aesthetically pleasing physique.
It looks abnormal, that's for sure. But his side shots are so powerful just because of his density that it's like, wow.
Everybody likes looking at the freaks.
Yeah.
And
I would think
that's what brings the...
everybody shows up. It's got to be between Hottie and Samson, right?
I would think so. Yeah. Right. There's no way it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
And then I reckon Hollingshead, Neckzilla, and Andrew Jack to be fighting for like the second and third.
I mean, don't count Antoine Valiant around. He's
big,
won some shows.
I don't know. I think the top 5 would realistically, let's just hypothetically say everyone showed up. It would certainly be Samson, Hottie, Andrew Jack. I think Rubiel would certainly be in there, and Hollingshead maybe. I think because there's a lot of tall guys like Horse MD, Raphael Brando, and even Antoine is very tall and more aesthetic than for someone like, like Hollingshead's great. He's got a good physique, but he's one of those big guys who's quite shorter. And there's a lot of aesthetic dudes in this lineup. Like, there's 5 names in here that are aesthetic beasts.
No, I didn't know that Hollingshead was working with Milos. Did he change up his training program? Because I mean, Milos trains the exact opposite of. I mean, his is all volume and pump sets, and those big giant sets. And Hollingshead was doing like basically dog crap training.
Yeah, I think he's implemented some I suppose characteristics of Milos's training approach. I don't think he's like fully fledged training like Milos.
Yeah, there's no way.
I did see a post recently from Hollingshead on Instagram where he was talking about training around an injury. So maybe he's starting to reach the point where he is realizing he's got to make some changes in order to keep the machine going. I don't know.
And some of us are going to be at the Arnold Classic, by the way.
My intention.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're going to be there, Colton? Awesome.
Yeah, that's my intention. Is Steve coming? I can't remember.
No.
I wish I lived in the States. I would so be there.
Let's just fly over there, Nick. I'll be in Thailand at that point.
Maybe. This ingrown hair is bullshit. It's cost me $4,500 so far.
Yeah. It looks better, at least. It's on its way, huh?
Finally coming good, yeah. But it's like,
looks like a fucking gunshot wound, man.
No
offense.
It was bad, yeah. But no, it's coming good now, and I'm glad because I mean I'm in week 6 of my mini cut right now, and I'm just over it. I just want to grow again, but I've just been putting it off because it's like there's no point putting my body under stress if I'm trying to like recover from this thing. But I think next.
But what did they have to do? I'm a bit lost because I guess I haven't been keeping up with it, but I didn't realize it was that big of a deal.
Yeah, so basically what happened is that the first doctor, like first surgeon, they just did a botched job, like very negligent in their approach. They removed 1/3 of the actual infected tissue, which made no sense to me. And I went back for a checkup 3 weeks later, post-surgery, and he looked at it and he was trying to basically say to me that the tissue that was there and infected was new tissue that had kind of basically come about since I'd gotten the surgery. And I said, no, it's actually been there since the surgery that you did. And I showed him photographs and he kind of went all red and got annoyed that I basically called him out for lying. Yeah. And he basically politely told me to piss off and get out of his office. So I happily obliged, got out of there, and I found a different surgeon at a different hospital after Steve recommended a different hospital. So much better, about the same price, but at least they knew what they were doing. They booked me in with a dermatologist first off. They were the first doctors or specialists to actually think, hey, maybe we should send a swab of this pus away to determine what kind of bacteria is causing the infection. And it's beyond me that they didn't do that first. And I wanted to do IV antibiotics first, like when I first saw a surgeon. And they thought, no, you don't need IV antibiotics. And I thought to myself, I don't know, it looks pretty fucking bad. Like, you guys saw the photo. Yeah. And I had edema, I had cellulitis from the infection, so it was bad, like all the way up my legs and stuff. And that's completely gone now. But I've been on oral antibiotics, like 3 different kinds for the last 2.5 months. I got 3 days worth of IV antibiotics with the new hospital, which did wonders, like a night and day difference. Within like a day after the last IV, like it healed up substantially. yeah, so it's just a big kind of like shit show of just trying to finally find someone that's not negligent and actually competent with what they're doing.
I mean, that's standard operating procedure when you have an infection, is to send the culture up to make sure you're getting the right spectrum of antibiotics.
So there's three bacteria causing the infection. One was responding to the oral antibiotics, the other two weren't. And so basically I got put on an IV drip for 3 days, and I got impatient, so I turned up the drip rate at the hospital. I'm just like, screw this. I'm going to go like double the mils per hour. I want to get out of here, because she said it so it was going to be like 3 or something hours for the 100 mil of antibiotics to go in my system, and I'm like, nah, that's too slow. I just turned it up to like 60 minutes.
Dude, that's great. I didn't realize it costed you that much. That's insane.
Yeah,
It sucks,
each
man.
each day of IV antibiotics cost me, it's like just shy of $1,000.
Which means it would probably be 10 grand here in the US.
Yeah.
But see, I've paid for what was meant to be unlimited medical hospital travel insurance through a Australian like company, and they're not reimbursing me for any of it. So I'm really pissed off. I'm like chasing them up. I'm like, I'm just disputing it as much as I can. I'm going to be on the phone with them this Monday, because if I can get that money back, I'll definitely come to the States. But if not, I won't be able to.
I despise insurance companies
It's
and
a
the
scam.
whole racket.
Yeah.
It's just it's so infuriating.
So was this possibly preventable in the first place, or is it just like completely?
I think possibly, yeah. In all honesty, I should have jumped on it sooner, but I've always had ingrown hairs in the past, and they've just kind of resolved themselves. So I thought, you know what, I'll just leave it. But I didn't consider the fact that here in Thailand, I don't think they treat the water the same as they do in Australia and the States.
Yeah.
Like put fluoride and stuff in it, so it's actually like, and chlorine, so it's sterile. I mean, it's not the best for drinking, mind you, but at least you don't get bacterial infections from having a shower. But here, I don't think it's as treated. So I'm guessing I probably contracted some sort of bacteria from having a shower, and it just basically going in the open wound. Yeah, that's my only assumption. Or because I was training at the gym here at Muscle Factory, which is not a clean gym by any standards, and I had the like ingrown hair basically exposed, touching the seats in the gym. I didn't think about that at the time, because I mean in Australia everything's sanitized and like the gym's cleaned 3 times a day. So you just, if you take a towel, like, or if your leg kind of like touches the seat, it's not a big deal. But here, obviously, people just sweating in like 35 Celsius plus heat, and not getting clean. Like,
I don't think people realize how humid and hot it is year round in Thailand. Like you will be drenched 24/7.
I'm convinced not to go.
It's so worth it.
It's too hot. No, I don't like fucking heat, man.
just stay in your like condo. That's what I do, honestly. It's like AC 24/7. And then I mean most of the shopping.
I feel like they'd have plenty of
there's
reviews out there for you, Todd.
There's gyms with AC over here. Like there's a local gym that's just got gym Leco equipment, like all gym Leco equipment. It's like AC. It's like bougie, like bathrooms and shit. It's just the gym I go to is just a bit grungy and old school, like whirlybird like fan with no AC and stuff. But I'm about to start training at BPC instead.
Yeah, we learned about the dangers of ingrown hairs and staph infections from jiu-jitsu, like what Chris is talking about.
Yeah.
You gotta be real careful.
I didn't realize it was that problematic. I've had, obviously I think everyone gets ingrowth hairs once in a while, but I didn't realize they could systemically get to a point.
Yeah, no, it's like it's not a problem until it is. You get a little cut or a little bruise, the wrong bug gets in there. It's crazy. You think about like I think about if I had been born, a few centuries earlier, I'd be in the ground already, and my headstone would say, "Here lies Colin, died from his hair." Like,
Damn,
I had MRSA last year from a bad injection.
Oh,
MRSA?
Yeah, dude. I went in. I gave an injection in my quad, and it was like a couple days later it swelled up. It was like the size of a marble, and I could feel it was all squishy, and I pushed on it a little bit, and like some brown goop came out. And I'm like,
Oh,
oh, I got to go get this checked out. Well, the doctor just gave me like a broad spectrum antibiotic, and 2 days later, it was the size of a golf ball.
No way.
And I'm like, nope, this is not normal. So I went back into the ER, and they cut it open, and they did a test on it. This was during contest prep, not this contest prep, but the one last year. They cut it open, cleaned it out. And it was hilarious. The doctor that was working on it, she's like, "This is so cool." And she's like, she kept showing me the shit. It looked like brown mayonnaise that was coming out of it. I'm like, you are a sick bitch.
That's like a Todd.
She's like, this is like one of the coolest things I've seen. She's like, you did this from a steroid injection? I'm like, yeah. I think what it was
is like. Then she was just like, "Do it again." No.
well, what they cleaned it out, they tested it, and they came back MRSA. So I had to go in every day for 10 days to get it cleaned back out. Like they would clean it out and pack it. So yeah, thank God I caught it earlier. I had a buddy of mine that had the same thing happen, and they had to cut out a half a softball sized piece of his quad.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was bad, man. It was because he let it go, and then he was in the hospital for weeks on IV antibiotics because it turned into sepsis.
Wow. Fuck me, man. I'm pretty reckless with injections sometimes, especially when I'm tired. Hearing this shit makes me want to change my mind.
Well, I tell you, I think what happened is I think it was the same thing Nick was talking about. I think that I just had a little bit of a cut from it, and then was at the gym and got some of the gunk from the dirty machines at the gym on it.
Wow.
And I'm not the most sanitary guy in the world.
What?
Yeah.
I'm not the greatest about showering or wiping off machines.
No. Damn.
Yeah.
Wow. It's good to know.
It's definitely serious. And I mean, I guess sometimes you got to learn the hard way. I think I definitely didn't. I mean, I have now. So I'm literally going to use chlorhexidine as my body wash for the rest of my life. I'm going to get onto any ingrown hair as soon as I notice it, like oral antibiotics straight away, so it doesn't turn into an issue where it needs surgery or IV antibiotics.
Did they, was it just doxycycline that they prescribed, or do you know even? Rifaximin?
Antibiotics.
Azithromycin?
Initially Slindomycin, and then it was Myact and Cravit. I've been on everything. I've been on the whole bloody laundry list of antibiotics. Most of the time I was on 2 antibiotics concurrently, so it was either Slindomycin and Myact, or it was Cravit and Myact, and then it was just Cravit alone, and then it was the IV of Cravit and this other one.
Wow.
But now I'm just on Myact now, because the antibiotics, like the 2 of the bacteria have responded to the treatment. There's this one that's lingering, which will just require some ciprofloxacin, which is just Myact. So I'm just basically taking 500 milligrams twice a day for the next couple of weeks. Shout out to my fiance; she's been cleaning and redressing it every single day for
that's
twice
awesome.
a day.
That's love, man.
Yeah,
it is. I really like it. Yeah, I would be screwed without her, so I'm really fucking grateful. Hey,
I love that about fiancés and wives. They take care of you when you get sick. That's probably my second favorite thing about having a wife.
Yeah, like it's especially when you've been in, like, I guess, subpar relationships in the past, and you're finally in a relationship where you do appreciate each other and love each other, and they're willing to go that extra kind of mile. It's
not even just willing to. It's like they're just there. You know, like there's no argument, there's no discussion. It's just like, of course I'm gonna be there for you. What are you nuts? Yeah, I know what you mean, man. I've been in those less than stellar relationships in my past as well.
This is making Todd have an existential crisis right now.
I think, well, right on time. I think Marty's coming out. Marty's busy with the show today. He's like, I'm just waiting on the random Todd leave.
I was just thinking
guaranteed random show.
I was just thinking, like, I would never want to basically put my significant other in that type of position to where they have to do something that I would then have them throw it in my face later. That like I used to do this for you, I used to do that for you. I would be like, no, I'm not going to accept that.
Yeah, see,
oh my God, I don't know if we have enough time on the podcast to unpack that statement.
Here's the trick: if they do something for you, you've just got to find something that's equally as selfless to do for them. And then if they ever try to pull that on you, you can say, well, I did this for you.
Yeah, all good relationships are built on tit for tat. That is,
yeah.
I have a ledger, and I keep a running tally of favors done and favors received, you know?
What's so funny is I was dating this nurse once, and she was sitting there watching me, and she's like, it sucks watching you have to give all of these injections to yourself every day. It's so much. It looks like it's so much of a pain in the ass, and then you have to do it to yourself. Like there's not a lot of people that can do that. And I'm sitting there smiling at her, thinking like, "You're right here, bitch. It's like you were a nurse. Why don't you do it?" But I didn't say it. I was like, "Thanks. That's really sweet of you."
It's almost like she was prompting you to ask her to do it for you. Like she was almost
no favors.
Can't show weakness.
Yeah. But, I was going to say, oh yeah. So what's the go? So Paul, you're doing your rebound. Paul, Colin, are you recomping, cutting?
I'm cutting.
Offset, cutting.
Yeah.
Colton, what are you doing, Colton?
I'm massing right now, dude. I'm like on probably one of the biggest cycles of my life, just trying to get as much.
I saw your pictures, man.
Yeah, I'm looking pretty big right now, and I'm starting because for a while, like I went to Thailand, and Nick kind of saw me there, and I just like didn't eat, dude. I was like just focused on having fun, and my problem is I won't eat versus eating too much. So I was like 260, and then I came down. By the time I got to Thailand, I was like 230-ish again, and then after Thailand, I went to Bosnia, and in Bosnia, same thing. Like I just basically ate meat and walked around.
Diced.
yeah, and it was super. Like I got super fucking diced for sure. But then I got back and I was like, I need to stop fucking around. And so I started eating again, and I got back on the cycle, and then things started to really pick back up. And now I'm getting up to like 250 again. So we're getting in because ideally when I get to Thailand, I want to, there's like a show in, Nick, you might know it. There's a show close by.
March?
What's that?
Is it the one that they're holding at BPC Gym? I was thinking of maybe doing one in March.
Yeah. And I think I don't take that long to get lean. It takes me like honestly like 12 weeks, and it's very fast.
Just do like a brief fat loss phase, and then you like stage lean.
That's what I was thinking. And so just get masked up for a show, and then go straight into a cut once I'm settled down in Thailand, and just like let it rip.
Colton, inquiring minds must know, what's the biggest cycle of your life look like?
So
can't leave us hanging.
Well, it's like, I guess it's the biggest I've ever done ever, is sort of like an experimental thing, but it's 200 milligrams of testosterone a day and 100 milligrams of nandrolone a day. So
that's good. That's a man-sized cycle.
Yeah.
So Colin, you're saying that you're cutting. Is it for just what is it, the Arnold?
I mean, it depends on how deeply you'd like me to answer that question, but yeah, that's my immediate goal. Is I don't want to go to the Arnold and be viewed as Paul's fat friend.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that, but I deserve better, and like it's just so hard for me to. I want to walk the walk better, and shit, just
honestly. Colin, if you get diagnosed with ADHD and you get your like Ritalin or something, like I'm not saying this is like a piss taker or it's gonna be a game changer for you. Hey, in terms of just like being a lot more consistent and dialed in with like just the daily habits and stuff that you need to kind of have in place. Yeah, because man, getting diagnosed, I went from like having motorbike accidents, rocking up late to uni to like just being dialed in. But I've been a shit show since I got to Thailand, because I haven't been able to fill my scripts here. It's been a nightmare.
Well, you said trending the way.
I think so. If you get daughters with ADHD, and I was just like, that's the trick: is you knock some girl up and get a bunch of kids that have neurodivergence, and then steal their medication so that you can be leaner. I'm like, that's the message.
No, you have a daughter, and you tell her to say to a doctor that she wants to become a boy, and then you steal a test script.
It's the easiest way to get testosterone. That's true.
Yeah, definitely.
I will say the best cutting to like the best cutting cycle is probably like a little bit of amphetamines, nicotine, and maybe a little bit of caffeine on top of that. That shit will make you absolutely starve yourself happily.
That's the ephedrine caffeine Yohimbine stack.
Yeah,
That's what I'm doing.
Todd is full-fledged off-season.
Yeah,
looking large and in charge, Todd.
Yeah.
Trying. I was 225 again today.
Yeah, your pics look really good, man. You put on some size, and you don't look like you've picked up any body fat.
No, it's weird.
Yeah.
If anything, I think I look leaner almost.
Yeah,
you do.
My skin, my ab skin still snaps, so it's always good.
So, can I run an idea by you guys, like for my next course? So, I've like slowly, basically stocked up on a bunch of primo and test. I'm thinking of like once I'm out of this mini cut, just going hard, like for me that is, because I went up to 1.5 grams for like 2 weeks at the end of my last push up, but before that, the peak dose I got to for the majority of the course was like 1.25 grams of gear. But that was that, and then 6 IUs of GH for the majority of that. But I'm thinking this time I'll go 10 IUs GH, and then test. After listening to like you guys talk, and then also Roman, I'm thinking I might just go like a vial of test, well, not a vial of test, but like a bunch of amps of test, so maybe like 1 amp of test a day, and then like a vial of primo a week. So, or even maybe 2 vials of primo, because the primo is 100 milligrams per mil. So maybe 2 vials of primo, so 2 grams of primo, and about like 1,000-1,500 tests. Because I obviously probably have to pull the primo down a little bit, but yeah, do you reckon that'd be pretty decent?
Your estrogen's going to be buried, probably.
If you haven't done it before, I would just go a gram a test and maybe 900 primo, and then see how that works. And then it's bad math. It's not convenient math, but that's probably the wisest first step. And then that'll take 4 weeks.
And then just get E2 get E2 tested and just adjust
after 4 weeks. Check your E2. And I know that Kurt doesn't believe in the IGF-1 being valuable, but I think it's a proxy for local. Like if your E2 begets X IGF-1, and then you go 2x E2 begets 4x IGF-1, and you have no E2 sides, then you're probably better off with the higher E2.
Yeah. Because now I think about it, actually, when I ran primo last time, I think just 600 primo with like a gram a test, or not a gram a test, sorry, what was it? It was 600 primo, 700 test. That tanked my E2. That tanked my E2 so bad. So yeah, I probably need to do what you guys said, have the test at least 30% to 40% higher than the primo.
Yeah, the nice thing is, dude, you have testoviron on every fucking street corner there, so it's you could just stock and load up on that.
I miss that. I miss those bear testovirons. It's bears. The amps of the.
Yeah, it's okay. I can show this. I've got a script.
Yeah.
What is the compound? Is it testosterone? Called testosterone.
Yeah, testosterone and ethate in is it castor oil?
It's testosterone, cypionate, and castor oil, and it's Bayer's testosterone.
This one's an ethate.
Enanthate. Yes, enanthate, and it's literally every pharmacy there. Like you just walk up to the pharmacy. Can I get testosterone? They'll have so many boxes of it.
Man, that's all we used to run back in the early 2000s, like 2000. It's funny when I had the guy Ryan on the UGL guy. He was talking about how you couldn't find testosterone back in the day. That's why everybody did DECA holding cycles. It's true. I remember you couldn't get tests anywhere. And then I scored a source in 2004, 2005, where I was getting those Bayer testoviron amps, and those things are great, man.
You don't feel them; they just fucking slide in. It's so nice, so nice.
The ampules are a pain in the ass, but
I've smashed a lot of those fucking things, dude.
Yeah.
Smashed a lot.
I'll tell you what, guys, my metabolism's been running away from me this last week on the mini cut. I've been averaging 600 plus carbs a day, and I've been dropping 2 pounds on average a week.
Let's go, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's weird though. I'm just yesterday I I just decided, fuck it, I'm just gonna eat more food. I had a few donuts and stuff, and my my carbs. I think my carbs totaled like just shy of 900, and I woke up like the same weight as yesterday. I'm like,
Jesus Christ. What's your day to day look like right now?
Day to day, like calorie wise, macro wise,
just like everything, cardio, calories.
Okay. So basically, I'm aiming for like 10,000 steps a day. I do 30 minutes faster cardio, and then I'll just like basically after that, I'll just turn the intensity down and stuff and just walk to get most of my daily steps in, so I can sit on my ass the rest of the day. I'll go for like brief, like maybe 5-minute walks after every second meal just to help with digestion. But aside from that, me and my food, my macro is like 350 protein, 600 carb. Like it's meant to be 500, but I hit 600 because if I ate 500, I'd be just withering away. 600 carb, and then fats. I keep fats very low, like anywhere between 25 and 50 grams a day.
Oh wow!
I thrive on a day. If I eat too much, if I eat more fats, I find my digestion goes to shit. I mustn't produce a lot of like lipase. I probably have very low lipase enzyme production because if I literally I get diarrhea if I eat like 50 plus grams of fat a day. Like
I'm just not ready to eat my next meal if there's too much fat in one meal.
Wow.
Yeah, like the donuts. I ate those donuts the other night. I literally it went straight through me.
Those are probably also fried in the lowest quality soybean oil on planet Earth.
Yeah.
So.
I have been taking lipase if I'm having a cheat meal, and it seems to help.
It's awesome. I love it. The only thing that sucks is shitting fluid when you're done. But
if you got any Australian clients, guys, definitely like. This is my sponsor now. Definitely get them onto this. This digestive enzyme product by Innodose. Like you've got like good quality like doses of everything from lactase, cellulase, lipase, protease, amylase, and then you've got a few other kiwi fruit extracts and stuff with like naturally occurring bromelain in it, and it's fantastic. Like I have that with a meal, and it goes down real well.
Chris has a question for you, Nick. He wants to know if you noticed any changes after you're doing the walks after every other meal.
Yeah, digestion's noticeably better. Like it's something that I advocate and I recommend to most of like the people I work with.
It does help.
I think if you're not doing it, definitely do it. I mean, Stan Efferding always goes on about how the literature shows that it's just as, if not more effective than taking metformin at regulating like blood glucose levels and stuff. And I think there's some truth to that. But honestly, I'd be much quicker, to do a 10-minute walk than to take metformin. I stopped taking metformin a while ago, and things are just improved as a result. I'd rather take berberine. It makes me fuller, whereas metformin just tends to make me flat, and it just gives me gastric distress. Even after I've like taken it for a while, like it's like it just doesn't kind of settle.
I find the opposite. Like metformin, man, I stay lean. I fill out. I just respond really well to it, and then berberine upsets my stomach. It's the exact opposite for me.
What's pancreatic insufficiency you have? Is it or?
Yeah, I don't.
That might be why.
Yeah, maybe.
I got a cheat meal yesterday, and it was like just a normal fucking breakfast, like pancakes and omelet. But I had the Suppressor Max supplement, and I just got a shipment of it in, and it never used the new one before. So I took the required dose of that, and usually I'll take metformin with a cheat meal. But like 2 hours after, I was going hypo, and I was fucking veiny, and like I was like, what's going on, dude? Because normally I'll take metformin, and I get sort of like that. I'm not hungry. Like I take metformin and I'm like very much so like I don't want to eat. I feel kind of fucking off.
It does blunt your appetite.
And Berberine's like, let's fucking eat again, dude. Like, let's forget.
Yeah, Justin sent me some of the Suppressor Max. I haven't tried it yet.
It's great. It's almost too great though, where you'll go fucking hypo. Like it's that powerful, honest to God.
It has to be probably arguably the best brand of supplements in the States, in my opinion. Like if I was in the States, that'd be the brand I use. But like the thing with Australia, it's really fucked. Like you can't get any products in Australia without like real hefty import like fees. And so by the time even like if someone wanted to, like a bodybuilder wanted to get a product from the States or the UK, like it would literally be 100 to 120% markup by the time it gets into the country. It's like not worth anyone's time, which is really unfortunate. Australia is just a bit of a nanny state like that.
Crazy. Nuts, dude. When you do those, you're counting your steps. Are you counting the cardio that you do as well? So like you do the 35 minutes in the morning and then okay.
I count that. So like that's why like I'm a bit loose about my step count. I don't mind if I go up to like 12K a day because I am counting the cardio towards it. But absolute minimum 10K. Like, but yeah, I find 12K a day. Like, I mean, it's easier to just eat those calories back and have better digestion than to do less steps and try conserve calories for the sake of not like having to eat as much food.
That's like my contest prep cardio.
Yeah. But like, see, one thing I hate is like when hard gain is like, I don't want to do cardio; it'll kill my gains. Like I'm trying to gain weight. It's like I don't think they realize that the actual amount that doing a little bit of cardio per day boosts your appetite substantially outweighs the actual calorie expenditure of said cardio. It's like you might say do 30 minutes of cardio, burn 200 calories, but you're going to be ravenous for an additional 500 calories throughout that day. So you're going to be in a net surplus at the end of the day. Digestion will be better. All health markers will be better. Like blood pressure will be regulated more, especially if they're doing a little bit more high threshold, like zone 2, zone 3 cardio, not just zone 1, zone 2.
It definitely makes a difference on blood pressure. Huge difference.
Massive. My blood pressure is literally running low from the cardio daily. Like I think it tested 109 on 39 at the hospital. No angiotensin receptor blockers or anything.
No, that's crazy.
And I'm having like 12 grams plus of salt a day. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it just goes to show, like, look after your body. And I mean, you probably won't need as many ancillaries to manage those, I suppose, side effects.
I usually during contest prep I have to drop the ARBs.
The ARB, yeah. Especially if you've got like things like clenbuterol and stuff, because they tend to have a bit of a blood pressure lowering effect.
Yeah, Clen drops my blood pressure as well. It makes my heart like race though sometimes. Almost like an arrhythmia or something.
Honestly, one of the drugs that I like, someone asked about it, about bodybuilders using ACE inhibitors. I love Nebivolol, dude. Like it's honestly one of my favorite.
I use it too.
Yeah, it's great because it's like I know we talked about this, Paul, but you got panic attacks kind of things with certain drugs, and Nebivolol keeps me from having those for one, but two, it's like I could just keep my heart rate in like 60 and minus most of the day, which is awesome outside of cardio. So I think that's one of the ones that even without an ARB, I'm able to keep my heart rate down. And then subsequently, because my heart rate's down and I'm not so like adrenergically stimulated, my blood pressure also comes down.
I just run go ahead, Todd.
Why do you want to have your heart rate lower?
I don't want an elevated heart rate because for me, there's a lot of good data showing that there is a calculated risk when you have, it's like, I tell people it's like driving a Toyota versus a NASCAR. Like a Toyota has about, even going 65, 70 down the highway, it has, a 2,000 to 2,500 revolutions per minute engine cycle. Whereas a NASCAR is going to have like 12,000 revolutions per minute with the engine, but the NASCAR engine lasts for 2 hours. The Toyota lasts for 500,000 miles. So it's like if I can keep my heart rate down more efficiently throughout a day and more of a stable baseline, I feel like the wear and tear on the heart is much less.
All right, but what if somebody already has a 60 heart rate?
Oh, I wouldn't use it, right? But
okay, so you're saying that the Nebivolol is the blood pressure medication of choice for people who have comorbidity with high heart rate and high blood pressure.
Yeah, and usually I find that dudes who are bigger generally have a larger heart rate most of the time, or a greater heart rate, and that might be due to inefficiency sleeping or just body weight in general. But
my resting heart rate has always been high ever since college. I mean, my entire life. So like, I mean, it gets low at night. Like because I use my Apple Watch, but it'll get down in the 50s and 60s at night. But just it's sitting in my chair during the day, it's always in the high 70s, low 80s, even with Nebivolol, always.
So right now I've got an extremely bad cold, and my heart rate is 65, and my stress is 20 out of 100. So I guess I would think that if I was to take a beta blocker, I'd be dead. But I guess for someone who's got a higher stress level, then that would make sense.
All right, mine was I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's 73 sitting here, so I guess that's not too terrible.
That's pretty high. I mean,
Are you on Nebivolol?
I take a half a dose.
Mine's 78 at the minute.
But Todd, if you're an alpha male, doesn't a beta blocker just have no effect on you?
So I didn't make those reels. I just said the sentence.
Sure, Todd.
The editor took the title of the video and made it. Because from that, I wasn't saying that whole thing. Like, if you're on a beta blocker, you're a beta. I never said that. That was that was a joke that the editor did when he made the title of the video.
Yeah, and then they just take the full video out of context.
Sure.
Yes, and then when the clips are cut out, it's out of context, and so it's like beta blockers are worthless. And then it's like, people are like, I've got anxiety. Can I take them? And I was like, all right, this is a bodybuilding channel. I meant in Bodybuilders that telmisartan is a better choice. But yes, you can do whatever the fuck you want, princess. I don't care what you do. You know, it's, but
I think it just depends on what your issue is, right? If you have a high resting heart rate, then it's probably the right tool for the job, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have a guy he's fucking jacked. He's 190 pounds. He's shorter, but he is jacked, and he just naturally is very like, he must have tachycardia or something because his heart rate's in the 90s like most of the day without caffeine. So for him, it's very practical, and he could likely get prescribed this by a doctor, but it just makes sense because we don't want that elevating. And then the other problem that's actually a limiting factor is when he's doing legs or something, his heart rate's going up to like fucking 160 beats per minute. Like, you can't train right when your heart rate's that
See,
fast.
mine never, it's weird. Like, I have a high resting pulse, but then I can't get my heart rate that high when I'm doing, even without the Nebivolol. Like, I was struggling during prep to get my heart rate up to 120.
Really?
Yeah.
why
Do cardio
did you
post workout?
Yeah, that's what I do.
why do people want to get their heart rate up during cardio? I never understood that.
To get into a different zone, different zone of like, so different heart rate zone, I think.
But the heart rate zones, as you ascend, you burn less fat proportionally.
Yeah,
That if
there's
you can
probably
do the
more
same amount of work at 100 heart rate at 120, you burn more fat at the 100 heart rate than the 120 heart rate.
Yeah, for fat loss, it seems a bit odd. Yeah, I agree. But I mean, I'll try getting to the higher zones for like cardiovascular health.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but yeah, in your situation, it makes no sense for fat loss because, like you said, it's around that 65% max heart rate, which is pretty ideal for fat loss. And I mean, for say someone in their 30s, you're probably looking at what, like 122 beats per minute, 124.
Yeah.
And then if
So
you're 60 years old, closer to like 105 beats per minute.
And
Right.
so
You're gonna
just
say
to break it, like your vagus nerve is attached to your heart too, which is like a very responsive nerve. So the sympathetic drive from your heart rate elevating signals to lipolysis essentially for the rest of your body, and that's like one minor cascade. But I think the bigger thing is that, like, EPOC, I think, if you all heard of, I mean, it was kind of like an old term that got used
Exercise post oxygen consumption.
Yeah,
I
so
thought that whole
is
EPOC thing
heart
got
rate elevation.
debunked, though.
But I don't think
Yeah,
it's
that's
as big
where-
as what people
Yeah,
get. Like, you're not going to
Lyle-
burn, but it's
Yeah,
Cool acronym though.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I've been fighting him against this for about 10 years, where I'm just like, this whole thing that you have to get your heart rate over 120. It got started and then it never got stopped. And then there's no actual back science for that, except for, like you said, if you're trying to increase your cardiovascular strength. But if, like, I haven't been doing cardio and I start doing the arc trainer and I've got a 140 heart rate, and 4 weeks later I'm doing the exact same settings and I got a 105, my heart is now stronger. That is why it's 105, that I can't get it above 105 because my heart's too strong. That I would have to pick a harder modality, like running on the stairs, to get that heart rate above 105.
Yeah, or
That
put a
I've
weight vest on.
conquered that. Right, exactly. And that's what HIIT cardio is for at that point. I mean, you wouldn't use LIS to get a high heart rate, and you wouldn't use LIS. You use LIS to burn body fat, and you want a low heart rate. You use HIIT to strengthen your heart, and you want a high
imagine
heart
the
rate.
imagine the amount of systemic fatigue from doing like HIIT cardio for list durations. Like, you would be fucked. Your training would go down the drain.
Well,
Yeah.
and
Well,
you don't want your heart rate elevated like that because it can cause marathon runners and bikers have chronically sudden heart failure. Like chronically, it's a very common thing with those individuals. So because that heart is just so hypertrophied, but also just under direct stress, because some of those guys will go for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours a day doing a heart rate of 120 to 160. It's like, that's not good, dude. That's not sustainable at all.
Yeah.
That's why they die.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's why as soon as I do my cardio, I'll back it straight down. It's like, all right, I've done my dues for the day. So no more fucking 120 to 140 beats per minute. It's right down to like 100 beats per minute. I'll just walk at that.
Yeah.
And just get steps in for that exact reason, like you guys said. And I think you get less inflammation in the lower body too from doing that lower intensity stuff. Like you do too much like actual legit cardio. I mean, your leg training will suffer because you just constantly have inflammation, like fluid retention in your legs.
Your knees will hurt too, for sure. It's one of
Yeah.
those things where it's like
You can see. I don't know if you guys can
100%.
see this, but this is. I'm trying to get it for the week. My average, my highest and my lowest.
Damn, dude.
Well, that counts all day. That counts the gym
Okay.
and cardio. So
Yeah, so that's not bad then. 41's
Let's see what
pretty
mine
fucking
is.
low, dude.
I mean, that's when I
So,
sleep.
it's
Yeah,
funny-
I mean, 250, 260, right?
Talking about marathon runners and the strain on the heart and dying of heart attacks. You know the origin of the word marathon?
No.
The messenger, it was during a battle, ran, I guess, to the city of Marathon. There's some guy named Phippides to deliver news like that the enemy was approaching. He ran the distance of a marathon, gave the news, and then promptly collapsed and died. And then they named the race after that event. So
Oh,
you go.
26.
sort of been happening since the inception of
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So my average over the last month resting heart rate while I sleep is 64. 64. My average daytime heart rate is 84.
Wow.
Usually I tell people you want to be below 60 the majority of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's never the case with
That's
me.
low.
I
I've
think-
never even heard
I
of that.
I think
really low.
Also, a lot of the guidelines, I mean, although it is probably beneficial from a health standpoint to have a low resting heart rate as much as possible, I think when you have super physiologic levels of muscle and you're just a bigger person in general, your body's going to require more oxygenation. There's going to be a slightly higher heart rate. You're going to be running a slightly higher blood pressure. And I mean, I think that's definitely a little bit body weight dependent. Like as you get heavier, it's going to be more and more difficult to keep blood pressure as low as it was when you're, say, 40, 50 pound lighter.
You have more tissue to perfuse. You need a higher blood pressure, which is why it's weird that you've got doctors who don't know athletes are clamping down on people's blood pressures artificially with beta blockers just because they look high compared to a normal person, but they're not comparing them to other bodybuilders because they have no other bodybuilder patients.
Now,
It's
from
just
what
as
I
nonsensical as
understand-
expecting bodybuilders to have creatinine levels of sedentary
Right,
office
exactly.
workers.
That's
It's like,
they
we need our
misdiagnose
own-
everything.
Yeah,
Or
we
the
need our
blood
own
pressure.
reference ranges for
They
everything.
measure their
Yeah.
blood pressure over 16 or 18 inches of muscle versus 12 inches of flab. Obviously, it's going to require more pressure. The only way to really measure your blood pressure is a Swan's catheter, where you cut open and stick it in the subclavian artery and measure the actual blood pressure as it leaves the heart. But they don't do that, and they don't measure at the wrist where there's no muscle guarding the arteries. They measure at the arm where there's tons of muscle guarding the arteries. Then they misdiagnose hypertension, and then they overprescribe these drugs. Hey, what's up, Chase? How you feeling?
What's up?
Pretty
Yeah,
good.
Chase.
Not feeling too bad.
How's it going with the nerve block worn off?
Yeah. I mean, it's worn off now, but it's really not too bad, really.
Good.
Just walking around gingerly on it though. So
PT starts
if-
Monday.
yeah, Monday.
You
Fluid
doing
starting
any
to drain out
protocols
with.
to
What's that?
You had Nick, sorry.
Oh no, you go, Colin. You go.
I was going to just ask if you're doing any protocols to get like advanced recovery.
Yeah, I
Wolverine and
mean,
Hilly.
I fell asleep today with the Normatec boots on.
Oh, hell yeah. How are those? I've actually been really curious about those. So
Yeah.
I
those
think
work?
they're great. I love it. Yeah.
Does that
I mean,
deliver cold water?
not cold. It just pushes all the fluid out of my leg,
Okay.
like
Alright.
up towards my torso. So I don't have any fluid like pooling down in my feet.
Nice.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Removes the need for compression socks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like yesterday, we had a baby shower last night. So I was like up walking around like with the crutch. And at the end of the night, like that shin
Yeah.
was full,
Yeah.
full of fluid. So,
Yeah.
I've been pretty much just laying around, keeping my feet up, and
Yeah, that's the way to do it. I had a device that had like a reservoir that you'd fill with ice and water.
yeah, they gave us one of those too.
Yeah. Oh man,
Yeah, I got one
that
of
was
those, too.
awesome. I recommend using that all the fucking time. And then they also, my insurance sent me like a machine that like was mechanized. I put my leg in it, and it would automatically like force my leg to bend and then stretch out and bend and stretch out.
I heard
That
about
was also helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the same
in
thing.
between visits to the PT.
Yeah.
You'll be right as rain before you know it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the second day. So,
Colin and I
Those are-
rehabbed our ACLs at the same time. We had surgery, like 2 days apart?
Yeah, I tore my ACL, and then like he tore his ACL like a week later. And we were back in the gym on crutches.
yeah, I mean, I have PT on Monday, but I think they're just going to like look
Yeah.
everything over and make sure it's not
The early PT is not
affected
much.
or
They're just gonna like bend it a little bit and
just
stretch
range
it
of
a little
motion.
bit, and then as you progress, you're gonna be doing some exercise bike work and what have you.
Yeah, so I got that Monday morning, and then I'll probably go to the gym after that and do like shoulders
Yeah.
or something.
I know RFBB is a physical therapist.
Yeah, I
so
was gonna
it's
say he
very
knows all
good.
this stuff.
The CPM machine.
What's RFBB stand for? Radio frequency bodybuilder.
Real fat bodybuilder.
No. he doesn't look fat in this picture. If that's him.
research. So, it's
That's
well,
his
he's one
boyfriend.
of my clients. I don't know if he wants his name out there, but
Oh,
yeah, he's one of my clients. He's a good guy. Do we want to get some questions? We've been
Yeah.
we're already an hour and 20 minutes deep. I didn't realize we were that deep.
Jeez. Yeah.
We go
So
deep in
fast.
this bitch.
are there questions?
Yeah, we got a
Balls
few
deep.
questions. Got a few questions.
Is it about DBol? Like, validate my DBol usage, please.
What do you think of my cycle test deck of DBol?
How much DBol do I have to take to do one set, like Mike Benser?
We got
What do you
diet
think of
questions
Decker-only
and
cycles?
I mean, you guys remember what Roman said about that guy that was using D-ball? His buddy
yeah.
was using 50 D-ball a day.
Yep.
60,000?
60,000. No. What was it? It was
Oh.
10 milligram pills. He was doing 50 a day.
60 a
Something
day.
like
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, and then he bumped
500
it to
D-ball.
100 a day.
Something like that.
That's just a couple. I mean, I've heard the stories. What was it about? I think
Like one
ma-
DBol will make you.
I got to be careful what I say. This is some behind the scenes stuff, but I will say that there was a famous gym I know of where they would have a chalk dish that was full of D-ball, and people would go in and grab a handful before
Yeah.
they would
Oh my
work out.
god,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
insane.
Just swallow it and let's get to the workout.
Yeah, that'd be wild.
That was back in the day, though, when you
Got
could
to
do
take
shit
your
like that.
aminos, right?
Take
Your
your
West Side
aminos.
aminos.
Let's do a side.
Yeah.
Let's do a diet question if you got
Yeah.
one.
Let's do a diet question. Yeah.
I think we'll start with the question that somebody paid cash money for, and then we'll move on to. Jason asks, "What supplements would you take for bipolar 2?" Just joking. What about the anxiety part? Theanine
Wait,
seems to
is he
help.
Is he joking or is he not?
No,
'Cause he's kind of like
joking.
said joking, but then the second question implies he's serious.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know what to make of this.
Probably steer
All right.
clear of things like magnesium threonate and glycinate. They will probably interact with, from memory, the bipolar medication if you're on lithium.
Yeah.
There is some interaction there. So there is certain supplements that will negatively interact with bipolar medication, so you got to be careful.
I think he was actually talking about the anxiety part.
I would
Yeah.
say lion's mane's pretty helpful. I've enjoyed that
Yeah.
myself from time to time.
Yeah.
Well,
I have occasional anxiety, mostly social anxiety. I just don't like people, and after a while, I hit my people tolerance and need to go hide in a corner somewhere. But I have definitely. It seems like the Nebivolol has helped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it also brings my blood pressure down. GABA seems to help me.
Yeah, GABA's good. People shit on ashwagandha, but I reckon it's good.
Yeah.
You just got to use it appropriately.
How many of you guys said you were using Nebivolol?
I am.
Just two of you? Just two of you? I tried it, and I just felt sick when I tried to work out. Like, just
I use it
that's
long
why I don't like
after
beta
workout.
blockers.
So I'll take it 3 hours after I've done worked out because I will get the same effect.
It can make you feel lethargic, I think.
Well, it was like the next, like I took it, and then I took it after a workout, and then like the next day, it just felt like I couldn't breathe when I was trying to go. Like, it just felt like my heart rate wouldn't go high enough, and just felt like I was going to pass out and be sick.
Was that at 5 milligrams or?
Yeah, I think it was 5. It was a real low dose.
Yeah, I'm doing 5.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't. It was. I just did that one time, and I was like, okay, I don't want to do that. But
do any of you guys take ezetimibe? I'm thinking of getting something for my cholesterol because I just want to
I can't do it, man. It fucks my stomach up.
I did for a while.
Wrecks my stomach.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did for a while, but when I ran out, I didn't get any more, and I mean my LDL didn't really go up. Like, I just went to my PCP on Monday, and I needed to get like my prescriptions like refilled because I hadn't seen him in like a year and a half. He's like, maybe you should come in.
Does ezetimibe? I think if I recall correctly, Todd's not on here, but I think Colton, you would probably know. Doesn't it affect the absorption of saturated fats? That's how the mechanism is, how it lowers
Non-esterified fatty acids, esterified fatty acids, because they're just like a testosterone molecule with an ester on it. It's a bit larger, so it tells the Niemann-Pick-like 1 receptor in your lumen of the small intestine to basically it blocks it, so they can't accept it. So it goes through your stool as opposed to.
That explains why I shit my pants.
Yeah,
I might try red yeast rice then instead. I'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I just started the red rice yeast extract. Why can't I say that?
Yeah, it's like a tongue twister.
I tried that too. Like, Jordan Peters had me take a ton of that, and it didn't do anything for my LDL. But so now on just like 5 milligrams of rosuvastatin, my LDL was a 55 on Monday when we tested.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so less gastric distress with that as opposed to like ezetimibe.
I don't notice it at all.
It's based on, it's localized to the liver. Like, literally, its effects are all based in the hepatic system. So
that's probably better for me then, because I don't really consume much saturated fat anyway. So ezetimibe's probably a little bit of a redundant.
My issue with statins, every time I've tried to use them, is I get really bad muscle cramps.
Yeah,
like even cramps, just pain.
Which is why I tell people statins suck.
Well, there's fuck, I'm forgetting the name. It's fuck me. It's an acid. They use it in conjunction with statin therapy or by itself. I made a whole video on it, but it doesn't have. It has the same pharmacologic action of a statin.
Bempedoic acid.
Bempedoic acid. Yes, that's correct. Bempedoic acid, and that would be an effective one to try, Paul, if it's something that's you're serious about. Because you certainly won't get cramping or any sort of negative outcomes from.
I don't know about you guys, but when I look at blood panels, I almost never see anybody below 100 on LDL. Like, never.
I made a post about this.
Mine's 55.
Where
you're a freak, Todd.
That's good.
Optimal lifestyle, like the optimal longevity, is somewhere around 150 LDL milligrams per deciliter. Like,
see, I think my LDL is in range. It's just the HDL is a little bit too low for my liking.
Read my post. It doesn't matter. Don't even count those things.
I mean, like my HDL was at 29, so it's like, well, if I can get LDL to 60, it's like 2 to 1.
All right, let's get another question in here.
So we got Relentless 1951 said he just started 250 milligrams test. Doesn't mention what ester. how long to see results?
Week
This man's
5.
70 years old.
Peak saturation levels between 5 to 7 half-lives of the drug. So just multiply the drug half-life by 5 to 7, and that's when you'll hit peak saturation levels. Probably start noticing all the effects of the drug.
Probably an anthate, because 250 is a UGL dose. That wouldn't be SIP. It would be 100, so it's probably an anthate.
I'd say week 7 you'll notice everything if it's real.
And 250 to be testy. Yes, look at me. 250 is essentially a TRT dose. I mean, you're not really going to get a lot of muscle growth. Or
unless you were like really hypogonadal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like me. when I was a natural, my test levels were like, I don't know the US like unit of measurement, but nanomoles, it was 8 or 7. When I was like peak kind of like when my test levels are meant to be high. But I had a decent amount of muscle, and as soon as I did my first course, which was like 300 megs a test a week, I added like, I think it was like 25, 30 pounds in like 10 weeks.
You're also literally a hyper responder, so.
Yeah.
But I don't,
what's the name of that website?
Am I really? Like,
I think so.
What website?
The website where you can see like
steroidplotter.com.
Yeah, steroid plotter. Let's go check out steroid
Yeah.
plotter. You can answer your question there too.
Kurt and I just did a video. We were talking about TRT going into super physiological, but it seems like according to him, in the 300 milligrams is sort of when you're getting into super physiological doses of testosterone, where you'll see performance enhancing effects.
Yeah, I think that what was that study they did ages ago? It was like decades ago. They compared. I think it was like 600, 300, 150, and 75 milligrams of test or something like that. And 75, they actually saw a decrease in test and muscle. And then it was like 150, they saw like maintenance. 300, like you said, super physiologic, and then 600 more, but it wasn't substantially more than 300. It was kind of like, obviously, it just represented that it's not linear as you escalate the dose. There is a taper as you like increase the dose.
And what was interesting about that data was they weren't training, so the lean mass gains were relevant to just them living life.
Yeah, but see how much of I always postulate like how much of those lean mass gains from them not training were just increase in fluid within the muscle, like intramuscular fluid. Yeah, because a lot of people, that's the one argument I hate when all these like self-righteous fucking chauvinistic natural bodybuilders say, oh, steroids work, you don't even have to work out. You don't have to even try, like you're going to build muscle. It's like they clearly don't understand the super physiologic deposition of like glycogen that occurs and the overall mineral content of the muscle as you increase your anabolic load.
I don't think they can pronounce super physiological deposition, Nick.
There's natties are so fucking annoying, man. There's a kid in my gym that every time he's in the posing room and I'm in the posing room, he has to tell me I'm natty, and I'm like, congratulations.
It's like if you're natural, vegan, and you went to Harvard, like what do you tell people first, right?
There was one dude that used to do that at a gym back in Australia before I came over here. He'd always just basically just come over to me and brag about himself to me and talk about how he's natural, and he'd show me pictures of him. I'm like, cool, man. And I found out like 2 months later that he's not natural and he looks like absolute trash. And it's just like sometimes the people that just go around saying that the most are legit lying to your face.
I don't give a fuck if you're a natural, dude. It doesn't matter to
me.
It's irrelevant.
I am a natural professional like I won my natural pro card and it took me 6 months. The fucking natural industry is a joke, dude. It's like you gotta be fucking kidding me if you think that's serious. Like, who cares?
I remember, this is another great Toddism. I remember Todd saying, if you choose to ride your bike to work and I take my car and I get there faster, that doesn't make you smarter than me or better.
Yeah. And it doesn't entitle you to get pissed off at me.
Yeah, don't get angry at me.
That's
right.
Bike, bro.
Just because I take the most efficient path from point A to point B doesn't make you better than me.
Yeah.
I'm friends with a couple of natural bodybuilders, like, and it's because they respect me and the decisions I make, and they respect enhanced bodybuilding just as much as they do natural. Like, they don't really see it as a, like this versus that, but rather they're just on different playing fields. And that's exactly it. And I mean, I can be friends with people like that, but yeah, the majority of them are just so fucking entitled and like self-righteous, and they have these superiority complexes where they like to prop themselves up on this pedestal above everyone else.
It's funny that that's how it
appears. If you put a syringe in your ass, then you're inferior.
That's how it appears. But no, people who do that, listen, they're only fronting because they feel like they have something to prove.
Well,
It's like, bro, who do you have something to prove to? Well, why are you looking for external validation in your life? Like, did your daddy not tell you he was proud of you enough? Like, fucking Jesus Christ, grow up.
Well, it's just also like they, like, do they really not understand that you literally can't get to 260, 270, 280 pounds lean naturally? It's like, I have a goal that is well beyond what's capable naturally. So I have no choice. Like, I have to do this. So, you know,
this is great. Joshua Perry said you can sit by the river and wait for an enlightenment to get you across the river, or you can take the ferry for $5.
That's funny. Josh always comes with the zingers.
Yeah, good Josh. I usually just wait and Josh answers people for me, and I'm just like what Josh says, because Josh is always right. Yeah. So I think like in the end, they know they can't compete. They're inferior and they know it. So they choose a handicap so that they can hide behind their handicap from being inferior.
It's an excuse and a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Or they're too scared to put a needle in their ass.
Well, that too. Yeah, this obviously doesn't apply to Mike O'Hearn, who is 300 pounds natty. As we all know.
He has those duck eggs, so I mean it's understandable.
I just thought of,
and then there's Doug Miller too. But yes, okay, so there's outliers that are natural that looked amazing. You're not that person.
Yeah.
So
Doug's an iffy one, man. Doug's an iffy one. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know about that one.
What were you gonna say, Chase?
I don't know. I don't know what made me think of it, but so for your guys' ACL surgeries, did you have a weird cut like way up on your quad? I think the doctor like dropped the syringe or not the scalpel and like hit me in the quad because there's like a cut like way up here, and I'm like, why?
Oh, that might be for the nerve block.
It looks like a cut, like they
inside of the leg.
That's where they put the tracking device.
They had cotton over it so it could absorb blood. It had like this huge blood spot.
We're doing a knee surgery today, right, boys?
Are you giving off a 5G signal now, Chase?
Right. Yeah. They put a chip in me. That's what it looks like. I was like, what the fuck? And then, I mean, because all the normal things are like down around the kneecap or whatever. And then I got this weird random.
Maybe they had a register doing neuro surgery.
I was like,
no, that's not the knee.
3 incisions.
What is this thing?
One above the knee on the right, one below the knee on the right, and then the big one over the patella.
Yeah. So I've got 3 around the kneecap, but then there's it's like halfway up my quad. I was like, weird.
I've got one. Right.
Meanwhile, you're in the operating room and you just start to wake up from the drugs and you hear, "Hi, everybody!" You're like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
I've got one higher up my quad too. I had the hamstring done though. I didn't do the patella tendon.
Well, yeah, no. So they did a cadaver for me.
Oh,
they didn't have to pull from anything, but
that's good.
Yeah, that should make the recovery a little quicker. But
yeah, that's supposed to be the best way to do it.
So they were originally going to patella. They were going to, and then they said based on like what I do with bodybuilding, considering like everything's pretty closed chain, like I'm not like cutting side to side or doing anything like that. They were like, you could probably get along just fine with the cadaver one, because the cadaver one technically is a little more risky in that it'll stretch out. But if you're not like doing that kind of sport movement,
it's a bummer that they don't give you the option to bring your own cadaver. I gotta go. It's fresh.
In the fridge.
Yeah. This one's
So-
got good ligaments.
yeah, that's the trade-off. Is it's a little weaker, but you don't have to heal from them taking one of your other tendons out. So
I'll tell you, the hamstring one sucked, man. My left hamstring is still not 100% of what my right one is.
Yeah, so like I don't have the big cut down the middle of my knee where they tried to.
I don't have that either.
But
George is persistent with this one. He was asking how alter nutrition during the deload week. For me, like I'm carb cycling. I do 2 high carb days. I just drop it back to 1.
See, you want to be at least maintenance calories in a deload week, in my opinion, because the idea of the deload week is recovery. So
recovery, right?
So if you're in a deficit, I'd come out of a deficit. If you're in a surplus, come down to maintenance, so you don't accrue excess fat. I'd say that's ideal.
Yeah, I'm in a deload week right now, and I'm eating my normal food.
Like just base day.
So no, I go in and I lift. I just lift like a pussy, and I still eat the same food, take the same supplements, do everything the exact same. Yeah, because I want to recover as much as possible.
Yeah, if you're carrying a decent amount of fatigue, it won't hurt to be in a small surplus in a deload week.
And then I got sick. I was in such a fatigue base. I hurt my knee, and then I started the deload week, and I was like, oh, I obviously started this deload week late because I wouldn't have gotten hurt if I did it on time. And then I got sick while deloading. So even though I'm deloading, it was still more fatigue than I should have been having.
Yeah.
So
see, like, I'm in a deload week right now too, Todd. So I fucking hate them because I hate training like a little bitch, but you just kind of have to. It's like a necessary evil to be able to push your foot down on the accelerator for another several weeks.
I love it because I do nothing and I still get a pump. I'm doing half the weight for half the reps and half the sets, and I'm doing 1/8 the total amount of work, and I got a pump from that. It doesn't make any sense. And I was like, I'm in and out of the gym in 45 minutes rather than 4 hours. I'm like, I don't even have to warm up to warm up. It's like a warm up. You do your first warm up set and then you walk over to the next machine. It's like it's like the drive to the gym is the most stressful part of the actual workout.
Yeah.
All right, guys. You want to get one or two more questions in? I got to wrap up soon.
Could I ask a question?
Sure.
What cars do we all drive?
Nothing over here, but I used to have a CLA back in Australia.
A what?
A Mercedes CLA, with the night edition package and shit like that. AMG. It was. I got rid of it though because it's like the way I saw it was I just needed a car to get me from point A to point B. I sold my car and I started driving my fiance's Hyundai around because I didn't want to I suppose spend money on that. I'm like I'd rather put that into like bodybuilding or like saving for
growth hormone.
Yeah. It's stupid expensive in Australia. Like a generic kit in Australia will cost you for most places now, what I've heard, minimum $350.
Dude, fuck.
Yeah, that's like baby blue top generics, like the shit stuff.
Wow.
Well, not the shit stuff, just like the real average stuff.
In Australia, it's that expensive for shit GH?
Yeah.
Or in Thailand?
No, Australia.
In Australia. Thailand, it's a lot cheaper. I mean, you can order it directly from China, probably. I haven't tried that, but I mean, you could probably order it from there, and I mean, they're like $50 a kit. So if you,
Adam just ordered a shit ton from.
I want to hear what Chase is driving.
That's what I want to know.
What kind of whip you got, Chase?
I have a Jeep Cherokee. Yeah,
I'm disappointed, man. I thought you would have
something fancy. It's more my wife's car. Like, I mean, we bought it together, and but it's like a smaller SUV for her. So yeah, I've been wanting to get something for myself though, but
what would you get?
Like, it's a waste of money. I was like, there's so many times.
Share a car?
Yeah, so there's so many times where like I have the car and she'll like want it for something, and I'll have to drive back from the gym or whatever. Which is one reason why I got that scooter a while back.
Wait, you have a scooter?
Yeah, you have a scooter.
I'm missing out on this shit, dude.
Yeah, it goes like 45 miles per hour. It's awesome.
Like a Vesper? Like an Italian girl in a Mentos commercial?
No, it's a stand-up scooter. Like a it looks like a kick scooter, but it's fucking huge.
Like the ones that you used to like.
300-pound man. Just
I know. That is just the comedic
you
potential in that image alone. What kind of helmet are you wearing?
Yeah,
Does it have racing stripes on it?
I wear a legit motorcycle on the side. It's fast.
Paul's got the Tesla.
That's fucking awesome.
It's like the Tesla of scooters. Yeah, but it's freezing here right now, so I can't really drive it. But
it's like one of those.
if you cut back to just generic HGH or 9 units a day, you could get yourself a hella nice car.
Well,
Yeah. Tesla,
I mean, that is
Tesla
just-
Model S played.
I would like to get like a plug-in hybrid so that when I'm just going back and forth to the gym, it could just be all electric, and because they're making some pretty good like high-powered hybrid cars now as opposed to what they used to be
They are.
with like the
And I have a Tesla Model S. I'll have to take you for a ride in it. And
yeah, those are cool. So,
if we're
Colton,
at
you still got
Arnold.
the truck, Colton?
No, I have a car problem, so I go through like 8 cars a year, like literally. So I had in 6 months I had a BMW M3, and then I sold that, and then I got a normal Ford Focus, and then I got a Ford Fiesta ST, which is like the turbocharged 6-speed, and then I got the Silverado, the 2024 Silverado.
That was the red one, eh?
It was a all black. It was like all blacked out.
All black.
And then it was the Toyota Tacoma Trailhawk, like it was like the new one. And then I just stopped. I was like, I gave it back like literally a couple weeks later. I'm like, I'm done. I'm moving to Thailand. I don't want a car. So now me and my girlfriend share a car, and it happens to be a Honda as well. It works great.
It's so much better, man. Because I mean, I'm sure you'd agree. Like the money just goes elsewhere,
dude,
and it's so much better.
Yeah, it's so stupid to buy a car. Like I've been thinking about it. I'm like, I can't.
it's fun though.
Yeah, it is fun.
It's
Like
fun,
so the next car that I've been like really looking at, which it would take me a couple years to like save for it, but the BMW XM, have you seen that?
Yes, dude, those are beautiful.
Yeah, I
Oh
think
my god,
that car looks pretty cool. Like it'll get like, it's a plug-in hybrid, so it'll get like 30 or 50 miles on just electric, but it's got a turbocharged or supercharged V8 in it also.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
Yeah, it'll.
Another good one's Audi e-tron GT. That's nice too.
Yes, those are also beautiful.
Yeah, the Audi e-trons are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Todd, what do you drive?
I've got a Kia Altima or whatever it's called, Optima.
Yeah, dude.
See,
It's
you know
just
the car.
a very basic car. I've had it since 2015.
I miss driving a manual though. Like
Me too. Yeah, that's what I love doing.
like before we had this car, I had a Mini Cooper S.
Oh, those are so
man.
fun.
It was so, and it looks so small,
Italian
but when
job.
you're in it, it's like a little cube tank thing. But that was a lot of fun.
I went back and forth on getting the M3 versus the Tesla. I ended up settling on the Tesla.
The Tesla's
so much
amazing.
better, dude.
I want to get one now after
Yeah.
riding Paul's. After being Paul's Tesla, I want it.
Yeah, Teslas are the way to go, I reckon. Like, I mean, if I were to get another fossil fuel car, though, like when I get back to Australia, if I say, get one, it would be literally something like a Toyota Corolla Cross, literally just a SUV version of a Toyota Corolla, because I mean, it ticks all the boxes. It gets you from point A to point B. It's fuel efficient. It's got more space. It's got high up seats. So, like for me, like I hate low cars now because my hips just take a beating in my lower back. Like that was one thing I hated about my Merc. It was so low. Like it just it feels nice to drive. Like it's fun. You have a blast, but you feel broken when you get out of it, and you're getting out of it like an old man.
Yeah, one of my buddies got one of those RAV4 Primes, where it's like it's a plug-in hybrid too, and it hauls ass. Like it's
Those things are so cool.
like they
they're
get the torque from the electric motor, and then the gas takes over. It's impressed me enough.
Yeah, there's a reason why Toyota have been around for so long. They're reliable, affordable,
They know what the fuck they're doing.
efficient.
This is me and mine.
Ooh, all blacked out too, huh?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Let's go.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting one of those. That
It
would
looks
be,
like the fucking
Yeah.
Batmobile. It's the
I'm
coolest.
telling you, man, it is so hilarious. You get these dudes rolling up and next to you with Corvettes and shit, and you eat their lunch,
just
man. They get
smokes
so mad.
oh,
They get so angry.
so
They're
it was
the DBol crowd.
What was it? It was a few days ago before my surgery. We were driving somewhere, and like the highway was relatively open, and I was just trying to get over. I was just trying to get into the next lane, and there was a Tesla like on in my back corner. So I was like, okay, I'll just speed up and get in front of him. So I gas it, and then he fucking gasses it. I'm like, what the hell? So he's like, I'm trying to get past him, and then I finally just like, I'm gonna miss my exits. I hit the brakes and go behind him. I was like, come on, man, I'm just trying to go.
You just described daily driving in the DMV.
Yeah, that's Washington D.C. That's Washington D.C. traffic.
That's just standard operating procedure out here.
A signal light in Washington D.C. is a sign of weakness.
It's an you're indicating that you want to go over. You might as well be indicating that they should just speed up and not let you over.
Oh yeah, it's like Mad Max
out here,
driving.
man.
Hey, Colin and I, when we went out to L.A. for my show, we were shocked. While L.A. has a reputation for the worst traffic, which it was pretty bad.
Yeah,
everybody was so nice.
They were nice. They were letting each other over.
And nobody was flipping anybody off.
We encountered while driving, not on the highway in the city, like a near accident, like a near fender bender occurred. Not one horn was honked. Not one finger was flipped. Not one head was out the window yelling. Like, I was like, what is this, Bizarro world?
Yeah. I definitely cut that guy off though.
Oh, he deserves
Come on,
it,
man. I was not trying to rape you.
And James Mayhew says, I've driven trucks for 40 years. Driving a car would feel like wearing a dress. I had considered a Raptor.
I love the Raptor or the TRX. Like, those are cool. Yeah, but the gas mileage is just
the Raptors are obscene. They're so cool though.
Yeah, they're cool.
I rented a Corvette Z06 while I was in Minnesota, and I was like, that's kind of one of my dream cars. The new ones with like the mid-engine.
Yeah, those are cool.
But it was like, dude, it was the worst experience of my life. Like, my back was fucking broken when I got back because the seats are fitted so weird. And then, like Nick said, when you have to sit down, it's like I had to like face my back into the car, like grab the roof and like lower myself in, you know,
and then like swing around. Yeah.
It's fucking miserable. Like, I've never given to spend money on a car like
my
that.
neighbor is an exotic car dealer. He sells Bentleys and Lamborghinis. And so he brings them home all the time. And he had a Huracan, a Lamborghini Huracan, and he's like, you want to go for a ride? And I literally could not fit in that fucking thing. I was like trying to wedge myself in there and like hit on my head, and I'm just like my lats wouldn't fit in the seat.
That's the problem. Yeah, like my back wouldn't fit, so I was just hunched forward the whole time. I was like, this is fucking miserable.
I'm like, well, I guess I'm not getting a Lamborghini.
The Tesla you sit in
pretty good.
Oh yeah, it's
dude, they're
got
great.
a lot of room.
Yeah, that's good.
Teslas are spacious. I actually wanted a Tesla when I got my Merc originally. Like, I actually applied for a Tesla first, and I got turned away because at the time I was so young. They're like, you're too high risk. And it's like, but I've got the liquid cash flow to prove I can afford it. Like, yeah, but because you're under 25. I'm like, oh, screw you. Gave them the bird, and I just went to Mercedes.
Chris asked me if I have the autopilot for your Tesla. Yes, I do. And Colin and I, we used to drive all the way up for Swiss.
Oh, it's so nice.
It's pretty cool.
It drove us there. It's not 100%. There's still some kinks that need to be ironed out. I'd say it's pretty damn good on the highway. It gets a little weird in the city sometimes. Yeah.
Can you, let's say you have a meal, can you just like chow down on that shit without having to worry?
No, the stupid, was it NT or National Highway Safety Transportation Board, whatever, NH, I always screw this up, but they require that you have to touch the wheel every 30 seconds. It's so fucking dumb.
That's dumb.
And you know what you should do? Just buy like a mannequin hand.
Yeah.
Well, now they have a cabin camera that watches you, and if it sees you looking at your phone or fucking off,
it tracks your eyes.
Really?
It tracks your eyes. It'll disengage it.
Damn.
So I figured out the secret. You wear sunglasses. And you can track your eyes.
That's smart.
Because it kept cutting me off on the way up. Colin and I were.
That's funny.
Just put a mannequin in the front seat with like sunnies on, and then you sit in the passenger seat, use your phone, eat your meal.
I honestly, on the highway, I would feel pretty confident with it doing its thing. In the city, I think it would run over somebody.
Yeah. Oh, it's a witch's hat. No, it's a human.
Yeah. Are those Cybertrucks actually coming out now?
Yeah,
they're
out.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I want one.
Yeah.
They're not that expensive, which kind of blows me away.
What are they?
Reminds me of the-
150,000?
For like the top model, for the base, it's 60, which is cheaper
It looks
than
like
most.
it's
Oh wow!
Yeah. It looks right out of Blade Runner, eh? It literally looks like a Blade Runner vehicle.
Did you see the top end model? They had it racing a Porsche 911 while towing
Yeah.
a Porsche 911 and it beat it.
Oh,
That's
really?
awesome.
It beat
Yeah.
a Lamborghini Urus too, just like super fucking bad, man.
That's
It's
crazy. Yeah.
crazy.
Jeez. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, that's wild. Well, my car is crazy fast, man. It's like I don't even have to turn it on the insane mode, and I'll
Yeah.
just crush Corvettes and Mustangs all day long.
Imagine.
I don't even want it to be fast. I just want to not have to drive it. I want to be able to watch movies and stuff while it just drives me around.
Yeah.
I punched it with Todd in there.
Yeah.
It's fast.
It was,
Yeah.
I went plaid. It wasn't even plaid mode, but I went plaid.
All right, guys, I got to wrap this up. I got things to do, legs to train, my house to clean. So my girlfriend will come in. She thinks I'm filthy, which I am.
I got food to eat. It's 2 a.m. So.
All right, guys, thank you for watching. We really appreciate each and every one of you. We'll see you again next week.